preliminary contest, and this time to Muay Thai rules. At 60 kilograms, over 3 2-minute rounds, would you please welcome your first fighter? Fighting out of the blue corner and Kenshiro Muay Thai. It's the Barbie Girl, Kat FREEMAN. From Fight Zone London, making her amateur debut tonight, Megan PATERSON. So, ladies and gentlemen, the preliminary card returns. The second half of the undercard here tonight. Chris Hoekstra alongside Malcolm Martin. Malcolm, an amazing evening so far, but this has a match of the night, if ever there was one, written all over it.
Well, Chris, if you look at it stylistically, Megan PATERSON, 5'11", compared to Kat FREEMAN's 5'5", and Megan says that she likes to keep things long and fast. She likes to use that range to her advantage. In fact, she's worked on two things in this camp: the clinch, this is amateur Muay Thai, and using the distance to her advantage. Now, in contrast, Kat FREEMAN has been working on technique and footwork.
And Kat's actually also spent some time out in Thailand. Previous experience in the K1 rule set, so she's got some fight experience. She's also a former professional fitness model, so she's also got kind of a different strength and conditioning background. I think that's done her very well coming into combat sports. But Megan PATERSON, very, very gifted, fighting at range, loves that teep. Should be a great clash. 3 rounds of prospect, 2 minutes apiece. 60 kilograms is the weight class. FREEMAN in the blue, PATERSON in the red.
Yes, it's great. Now, as we said, transitioning from the K1 to the Muay Thai now. So the clinch work will be different, Chris. You'll see our referee, Pete Richardson, as long as they're working, allow them to do more in the clinch, whereas earlier they were splitting them early. And a stiff left jab to start from Megan PATERSON, looking to keep Kat FREEMAN at bay.
Now, worth also explaining kind of the differences in the Muay Thai rule set that we're seeing here under amateur rules. Not going to see those full elbows and full knees that we'd see at the A class in professional ranks.
We'll see those coming into the B and A class, which we will see later tonight, but there will be no knees to the head here. There'll be no elbows whatsoever, but you will be allowed to work far more freely in the clinch.
And good shifting kicks here from FREEMAN. She's doing a great job of stepping outside, loading up that power. And the hand fighting as well. That's been the biggest difference in her game that I've seen. Super comfortable in the pocket, and that's a sign of ours on the Thai pads. You know, you go out to Phuket, that's what they do. You sit there and you work in the ring on your footwork and economy of motion. That's a beautiful series of exchanges, finishing with that right round kick.
Well, the thing that Kat FREEMAN says is she feels her greatest strength is her low kicks, but she needs to get in range inside Meg PATERSON to really make that effective. And I like the way she steps in very quickly. You need to against the taller opponent, and there's that trademark low kick, Chris.
And the pairing, the hand fighting, the trapping. The use of her rear hand is just, for me, one of the biggest differences. Oh, that was a solid right hand. Right cross lands there. PATERSON looking for something. FREEMAN pushes back. 1-2 to a low kick there for FREEMAN.
Well, that right hand came after a right roundhouse to the same target, and this is the danger for Kat FREEMAN. As much as she needs to get in close and work, she's got to be aware, and again, the teep straight to the face and left hand, and she's getting through now, Megan PATERSON. And that's the danger for Kat FREEMAN. She knows where she wants to be. She knows where she's comfortable working, but it's getting there safely.
Solid low kick again there from FREEMAN. FREEMAN able to catch PATERSON very heavy on that lead leg, and when the weight's down, Malcolm, that right round kick can cause some havoc.
Well, this is one of her game plans, obviously, for Meg. Patterson, I would take heart from the way those punches have come through. Overall, Chris, when you look at the full 2 minutes, a good even opening round, and both girls have tried to play to their strengths.
Absolutely. So the other thing that sticks out to me is the fact that we're dealing with a tie rule set, but we didn't really see any clinching.
I think, again, the clinching here would be made difficult if Kat Freeman wanted to because of this height and range. And look at the way that Patterson tries to use it.
And just the evolution in her skill set for me is one of the biggest things. I've seen her fight K1 before. The fact that she was batting those incoming strikes away, then stepping forward on her, in her own space, on her own terms, with that 1-2 to a low kick, just real good shot selection, if I might say it for myself. But Patterson also having some of her own.
Well, that's the danger for Kat Freeman. As I said, she knows where she wants to be. She knows what she's got to do to get there. But we've seen times that Megan can make it difficult. The teep to the face, the roundhouse and the right hand over the top. For her part, Megan Patterson has got to do more of that. And it's the timing, catching Kat as she comes in, before she gets in that range.
So 2 of 3 on tap here in London. Traditional music there in the background, of course, a hallmark of Muay Thai combination, or excuse me, Muay Thai competition. I'm mincing my words tonight, Malcolm. This is such an entertaining contest.
Megan Patterson, a textbook right roundhouse to the head of Kat Freeman, and she just walked right through it to try and get where she wanted to. She's got to be careful, but she did just literally walk through. I had to remind myself the roundhouse landed, and this is the thing. Megan Patterson knows where Kat Freeman is, and she's coming into this second round far more aggressively.
Nice knee there from Patterson. Patterson doing well to fight long. She said, look, I don't necessarily have that instant knockout power, but I have speed, and through my speed, I can be a real threat.
Well, she also mentioned that in this camp, she was working to use distance to advantage. And for me, if you're going to use that to advantage, it's keeping Kat Freeman at long range. Now, this is the first time across the 2 rounds we've actually gone into the clinch. And you can see Freeman wants to work. Patterson looking to just tie her up.
Patterson did a really good job of hanging on her and making Kat carry her weight. That's a smart tactic. Sometimes what you want to do is test your opponent's mettle in the first, kind of audit and exploit, and then as things kind of transpire and move and evolve, then you can obviously go to other things like that clinch game.
Well, it was interesting. Patterson stayed in the pocket with Kat Freeman there and gave equally as good as she got, which is, again, we've seen it every time tonight. The fighters are willing to stay in the pocket and trade shots, which has made it so exciting for the crowd and for us. Hard and hurtful for them.
Deep underhook on the right. Freeman trying to pummel in here and work something of her own. I like the fact that she's really pushing her hips in, staying real tight, negating any of the leverage advantage that Patterson may have. Good work here from both individuals so far.
Well, that's why Pete Richardson, our referee, is happy to let them continue. And as you said, Freeman pushing in tightly there, giving no space to Patterson whatsoever. And I think he'll just about be ready. Well, he's just about to break them on the bell. For me, Patterson more aggressive in the second round, Chris.
Yeah, it was a really interesting shift as well. You often learn a lot when fighters tie up. They feel each other's strength. They have an idea, if you will, of how things might transpire in the kickboxing dimension itself. But that clinch work, I think, was very interesting to see. Freeman trying to get some knees in, but kind of struggling with that plumb control.
And again, it's as they break that all the action actually comes. The knee from Patterson, followed by the heavy hands from Freeman, and then the right hand again from Patterson. So what's interesting for me, when we come into the clinch in the third round, is they tend to negate each other in the clinch there, but it's when they break clean without the referee that we saw the good action coming.
And it's those entrances and exits in and out of the clinch that are one of the most important aspects of kickboxing. Thai boxing, as we talked about, very different to what you folks have seen so far tonight, often under the identity of the K1 kickboxing rule set.
Well, as you saw under that rule set, our referee, Pete Richardson, very quick to separate them, very quick to make sure those clinches are clean and fast, whereas here he's happier if they're going to work to let them work.
Third and final round here, 2 minutes on the clock. High point roundhouse kick. Freeman backs off.
Well, you can see it's Freeman that fancies her chances in the clinch and working to the thighs of Megan Patterson. And in the clinch, you've got to be honest, Chris, to say that Megan Patterson's been more defensive in that clinch rather than looking for offensive technique. She's tried to negate the work of Freeman.
Nice rear teep there. Patterson looking to, again, fight tall and fight long. That's an art unto itself. Jack hook there from Patterson. This is better work, more technical work here from Patterson.
Well, it's what she talked about. This is what I wanted to see at range. And then the right hook over the top that Freeman took well. But this is what I wanted to see from Patterson, was just using those natural attributes and making life easy for yourself.
Freeman pushing into the clinch here. The thing is, can she work some magic with those knees? Patterson's, I think, landing the more significant strikes in this round so far, Malcolm.
Well, that was the first time that Patterson not only negated Freeman's work, but span her through the knee cleanly.
Kick catch there. Freeman shuttling it to the right. Coming in, trying to land the fastball right hand of her own. Probing jab, southpaw, back to orthodox from Patterson.
Now, Chris, we've seen across this evening such tight fights, a number of majority decisions, a number of split decisions. We could be heading that way again with this one.
Good low kick there from Freeman. Probing jab, 2 to the body there from Patterson. Round kick, punishing round kick from Freeman. Freeman worked those kicks in the first. I think that probably won her the first round. Of course, Muay Thai scoring is different than, you know, the K1 kickboxing rule set, so the judges are looking for a slightly different set of criterion.
Well, good job you mentioned that, Chris, because again, what will score heavily is kicks that move you, the power and that shift you. And in that sense, you've got to say that Freeman's kicks were really impressive there. Is that the only criteria? Obviously, no. Will that make a difference? Possibly. But we've seen split and majority decisions tonight. We might be heading that way again.
And we definitely also saw the full spectrum. We saw the clinch. We didn't see it in the first. And the judges are going to look to see who was the more complete fighter and using all of those tools of the Muay Thai. Granted, you know, minus the elbows and knees that are limited in this amateur rule set, but for me, the clinch was an important factor and maybe the shifting point in this fight.
Yes, it's a good point. And again, in the early clinches, you would possibly say you're going with Cat Freeman. But here, I think this is the clinch where Megan Patterson turns her, spins, and then drives the knee in. Yeah, you can see her work. Here she goes. She turns, big knees here. Those points are pivotal and they're key. But this is another close fight. Very good, very technical. And neither girl willing to give an inch. It'll be very interesting to see how the judges do go on this one. Well, the judges saw it unanimously. Megan Patterson.